Welcome to the thought process. So, the thought process is a call-in show that we're doing here on Discord. We're here in the English Hub, which last week the English Hub treated us really well. There's a lot of callers, a lot of people in the room, very popular. We're back here again. David, you want to talk a little bit about more what we're doing?
Yeah, we like to have discussions about what's important to people, what they wished other people believed, what they care about, what they think is true, or want to explore if they think something's true. And our goal is to discuss how we can get there too, like how we can understand what you know, or how just kind of walk it from point A to point Z, as opposed to just saying. Doing a debate. Our goal is not to debate people. There's plenty of debate stuff out there. We are doing things like street epistemology, nonviolent communication, which we're combining. Pierce is combining in a lot of ways, calling it compassionate epistemology, or
yes,
yeah, CE.
Yeah,
it's a fun.
Not just me, a lot of other people.
Yeah.
That was not my original idea, but I've been a big part of that.
Love it. Absolutely. And yeah, we just really have some great conversations every week, and we're happy to be back here at the English Hub.
Yeah, we absolutely love it here. And if you guys don't know exactly how it works, so we're on a stage here, as you probably know. Discord has a stage feature, and you can click on the hand icon and request to speak. We can bring you up here. You can tell us about something you'd like to talk about, something you think is true, something you're passionate about. And we talk to you about it like David suggested. And just like that, we got somebody with their hand up, so we'll bring him up on stage. Hey there, how's it going?
Okay, hello guys. Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, our pleasure. Thanks for coming on up. So, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. A little late for me, but I wanted to enjoy the talk.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah, where are you calling from?
Spain.
Spain. I take it you know Spanish.
Oh yeah.
Okay. David's trying to learn Spanish. Yeah, there you go.
Yo hablo español como un niñito.
Oh, that sounds good.
Thanks.
Hola, me llamo Pierce.
Oh man, look at that.
Look
He's
at
got
that.
it too. So have you listened to us before? Have you, or did you just like the description of the event?
Oh no, first time. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you want to talk about?
Well, actually, it was something recently. Today, I was thinking about something, and I was thinking about how many people live their lives based in what other people uh, tell them or tell them either what they can or cannot do. Like for example, your parents, your friends, uh, religious leaders. Um, like I can I should have a house when I'm 30. I should marry, or for example, now that is much more open to deviate from gender norms. For example, a man wearing nail polish or wearing more feminine clothes because they want to, or women wearing things that are associated with masculinity because they want to. And some people that having that have been living their whole lives based in what they can and cannot do from other people see that, and they cannot understand it. And I think I think more people should think about what they want to do, what they enjoy doing, rather than trying to trying to base their whole life, or trying to decide all their life decisions based on, you know, your parents, your friends, your religious leader. Because I think
Mhm.
you will live a happier life, and there is so much frustration in the world. Because, I mean, in my opinion, there is so much frustration, and yeah, frustration, let's say frustration in the world, because of that, because people are frustrated with themselves, because they are not living their life that they want to live. And so often they just, because they don't feel safe living the life that they want to live, they try to attack other people that that don't feel the same way, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How,
There was a, go ahead, David.
why do you feel as though people tend to do this? Like, how did you come to a different conclusion?
I think people want to be want to feel that they are part of something, and it is very scary. It is very scary to feel that you're going to be alone, or you're going to do something um, unknown, you know. And I think it's not that's the thing. I don't see it as a weakness. I see it as a very human act to try to live, you know, based in what your parents or people around you that you love live through um, their opinions, or their ideas, you know, because you want to be part of them. So that I see it as a human behavior.
Hmm.
but but at the same time, every person is a individual, and you should always strive to find yourself as an individual, and try to be happy with yourself as an individual.
Hmm.
So I heard you say quite a few things here, and I kind of want to explore this conclusion a little bit more and bring a little more clarity to it, because I'm not sure if I understand correctly. So there's certain people, certain maybe even groups of people who are telling other groups of people what to do, how to live their lives. And then I think recently you've made the observation that things are changing a little bit, and gender norms are changing, gender roles are getting switched up a little bit. And I'm wondering, it sounds like you're viewing that as a positive thing. Did I make the correct assumption there that you think this is a good thing, that maybe these things are loosening up, like the example that you gave about gender norms?
Oh yes, I see it as a positive. I would even go further and say that I think in an ideal future, the idea of what is a girl's thing or what is a boy's thing, that shouldn't exist, you know. But I understand that's just a little radical, you know, and maybe something that more futuristic, you know. But I would like to loosen those ideas, because the thing is that those ideas uh, change with time. Like 100 years ago, in a lot of societies, pink was a boy's color and blue was a girl's color. So when you try to put people in a box, and based on the ideas of now, and say, well, blue is a boy's color and pink is a girl's color. So if you use pink, then you're less of a man. You're feminine. But the only thing that has changed is the time period. The color is the same, but because we are 100 years separated from when pink was a boy's color, that now you're trying to limit what that person's uh, will do without being judged or being discriminated against.
I hear that. I hear that. Why is this something that's important to you?
I think it has become more important uh, now that I have lived in in many places. I have moved a lot throughout my life, and I have seen, in my opinion, the unhappiness of so many people that feel uh, prisoner prisoners. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Maybe,
Prisoners? I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, prisoners of their own ideas of what their life should be, based, in their environments. When I say environment, I mean the people surrounding them. And even though it doesn't affect me directly, you know, I feel that if we want to have a better, a happier society, I think it's important to strive for having the, a happier society, because to my eyes, a happier society is a better society. And if people doesn't feel happy with themselves, how we are going to reach that?
Okay.
Hmm.
It sounds like seems like you have a lot of empathy for others, and you want other people to have like autonomy to make their own life choices. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
I want them to feel like they can make their own life choices without being intimidated by the
Hmm.
fear of being ostracized, or even worse. You know,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think we're saying the same thing. Go ahead, David.
Hmm.
This may sound similar to what I asked before, but why do you think people try to intimidate people who are different?
Oh, like, it's something that goes back to what I said earlier. Like, I don't hate people like that. I I
I understand. I'm
understand
not
that.
thinking you're speaking bad of them. I'm just saying, what do you think their
Oh yeah, yeah.
motivation is?
Oh yeah, I know that you are not saying that. I'm saying, like, because I have seen people that hate people like that. And I don't hate them. I feel pity, because they're afraid, and in their fear of the unknown, they express that fear with hate and anger towards people that don't feel the same. You know,
Hmm.
I can give you an example, but if you want, but uh, I don't want to take much of your time.
I think I follow what you're saying, and I've been chewing on an idea that a lot of like the backlash of a lot of the free expression of people these days is in a way like a trauma response. Like you imagine people grew up and they were like every time they tried to try something new, they tried to wear something that was not the norm, or they tried to act in a way that's not the norm. They'd get like, don't do that. People don't do that. Boys don't do that. Girls don't do that. And they'd get knocked down for it over and over again. And now they're watching other people do the same thing they did, and it's like almost celebrated. I can imagine there's like some frustration
Mm,
and maybe even like fear for the other people. Like it's like a wait, no, don't do that. that's bad. I've been told my whole life that's bad. Don't do that. And it's almost like a it's one of those it's like they care, but they're not seeing it. They're only seeing it through the way they've been burned by it.
Oh yeah, yeah. You've seen it through generational trauma in families that maybe have, for example, a gay kid, and even if they accept that their kid is gay, they try to minimize it. They try to say, "Hey, don't act gay in school," because they are afraid for their kid to be, attacked uh, mentally and physically. So even though they are accepting of their own kid, they are trying to put they're trying to put restraints on their kid because of their generational trauma.
Mm. To me, it's like a double-edged sword. It's like it's it's a restraint, but also there is a fear of danger. It's like whether or not there was there's no longer a snake on the path. I mean, that there was snakes on this path at one time. I think it's understandable that somebody's jumpy on it.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, agree.
yeah, that's a
What
tough spot. Go ahead, Pierce.
What do you think the best way to like? It sounds like you'd probably want this to not occur. You wouldn't want people to behave in this particular fashion. What can we do about it?
I think we should educate people from a young age that even if they don't understand, or even if they don't share the same outlook in life, or well, even if they don't share same, I don't know, I don't, I can
Like
um,
try to understand other people's perspectives? Is that what you're trying to say?
like try to teach like people to understand, like, for example, if a kid want to dress in a different way, it doesn't matter that you don't want to dress in that way. If
Hmm.
the other person wants to dress in that way, it shouldn't be something that you feel it affects you or threatens you. It shouldn't be like that. And if it doesn't harm you or harm anybody, then it shouldn't be something that should be worrying to you.
Yeah, I think the the thing to figure out is uh, whether harm versus perceived harm. Um, whether or not something is harming a person or not, I think there's still of fear of harm, and I think that's what um, is hard for a lot of people. And a lot of times people are uh, almost like fighting the idea of something versus what's actually happening, and it's tough.
Yeah, and a lot of times that perceived harm comes from places, that I don't consider um, I don't consider them. What's the word? Um, the only word that comes to mind is like words, but I don't I can't think of the word right now. But it comes from places that it shouldn't matter.
Mm.
Like I was having a conversation with someone that was gay and someone that was religious, and the religious person was trying to say to the gay person that he should stop being gay. And when we asked the religious person. Why? She said, well, you are harming yourself because you are committing a sin, because it's a sin in my scriptures from my religion. And well, that person thinks it is something harmful, something bad for the gay person to keep being gay. But from my point of view, that perceived harm shouldn't be uh, taken into consideration when it's something like that. When it's when it comes from something uh, like the philosophy of another person, you know.
Mm. Sorry about that.
All right, I think David and I likely have good understanding of where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess David, do you have anything else to ask? I think I'm satisfied with how this went. Good.
If you talk to if you find yourself in another kind of conversation like that, tell them to call us, and we'll all talk to them all together here. Try to sort it out.
Okay.
Appreciate you coming up, Oxymorado.
Oh, thank you for your time, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Buenas noches.
and
Gracias, gracias.
we'll bring up James next. How's it going, James?
Hey, hello, David Pierce.
Nice background.
Thank you.
That's nice. Those maps back there? Oh, it's not real, is it?
It's not real. It's just
What
AI.
is real?
Right. What is real? Am I real? Am I?
We're getting there.
We are very close.
Well, what brings you up,
Wow.
James?
Yeah. Faces. I come here a lot, and I never see people's faces that I talk to because I'm usually a teacher here, and so it's such a relief to see somebody's face that I'm talking to.
Nice.
So I do run a group, and in the group today, the topic of the day was helplessness, and so I've been thinking about helplessness a lot in my personal situation. I'm a professional educator. I run education programs in a nonprofit, and I'm the director, and I manage staff, and I actually have a lot of responsibility. I used to just be an English teacher. Now I'm an administrator. I have a lot of responsibility. And typically, when you think of like that role, there's a lot of power related to that role. But and I recognize that I have a lot of power. I don't think of myself as a powerless person, but I really have these experiences where I feel nearly completely helpless to do what I want to do or even move in any direction in my role, in my job, in at the top of this. Well, in a hierarchy, because there's people above me too, but and it came to a head this week where my number 2 person, the person who's really like my partner, needs to help me run the department, just went full insubordinate, would not answer my messages, went over to my head to my supervisor and basically said, like, James is giving me too much work. And I thought, well, I don't see it that way. She's been doing nothing. And I hate to push people to work, but if she doesn't do it, it means I have to do it. And I can't. I just have too much work. And so I really felt, and still, because it's a live situation, just helpless. Like, if I push on her, like, do the work,
Mhm.
she's going to quit. She's going to quit.
Hmm.
And if I don't, I'm going to have to push in the other direction where management is like, do more projects. And I'm going to have to say, no. And, you know, I'm aware. So my whole approach to this helplessness thing is that I believe that we all truly are helpless in the face of other people. Like, other people do whatever they do. You know, we don't have control over what other people do. And I am doing my best to focus on what am I doing, and what do I really want to do in this situation? Do I want to say no to my boss? Do I want to kind of give an ultimatum to my employee? Is there even a right decision? Or
I'm trying to figure out the best strategy to fulfill what you would like to occur.
let me say it as two pieces. I think that's true. I would like to determine my strategy, but I think there's another part of it, which is like, I want to look like a bird's eye view at what's going on and kind of recognize that I might come up with a good strategy. I might not, but there's a helplessness of being in a certain context with things that are outside of my control. And it may just be that there is no good answer to this problem, that it's,
I'm so sorry. I'll be right back, guys.
I may just be in a tough spot, and it's not about me. It's just that I'm there in that tough spot, and that's just where I am.
You mind if I repeat back what you've told
Please.
me? Okay, great.
Please.
So you're an educator. There's people above you, people below you, and you observe that someone below you, you assign them work, and instead of going directly to you, they went to someone above you and said, "Hey, James is giving me too much work. I just can't do it." And then you said that there was a certain amount of helplessness that you thought to yourself. I'm wondering, at this point, when you found out that she went over your head and went to your boss and told him that you were giving her too much work, what was alive inside of you? How did you feel at that moment?
Betrayed, disappointed, and hopeless. Kind of like a despair, like
Despair. Okay.
despair that I wasn't going to be able to connect with her, that she had kind of detached from me. Like, we had been, up to that point, we had always been working together, talking, sometimes frustrating, but this was the first time where she basically just removed herself from the conversation with me as if she had given up. And so I felt like, if she's at the point of just avoiding me, I'm either going to chase her down and that's going to make things worse, or I'm going to just stay here where we're not communicating, and that is a problem.
Okay. I think I understand here. So, from your excuse me, a little frog in my throat. I can take a drink of water here.
Take your time.
Thanks. Okay. So I think from your perspective, so you observed her going over your head. You assigned her work. She went to your boss, said it's too much work. You had a feeling of despair. And then what is underlying this despair? Why did you feel despair? What was behind that?
Yeah, thanks. I think I'd like to be successful in my role as the director. I'd like us to accomplish our projects and assist people, run efficiently and develop. Like I'd like the department to develop. I'd like the interpersonal relationships between the staff to develop, and I want to develop a relationship of trust with her. But I want to trust her, but I don't trust her. I see her behavior and I think, how can I trust her? I'm not seeing a way to trust her. I see her, she's supposed to be there 5 days a week. She only comes in 2 days. If I call her on the day that she's not there and say, what are you doing? This is now what she does. She's going to my supervisor saying, James is bothering me and doesn't appreciate me. Well, it's true. I mean, I appreciate her this much, but when she doesn't fulfill her duties, it's true. I don't appreciate her and I don't trust her and I'm really irritated. I don't want to, yeah.
Okay. I've heard your perspective here, and let's try to look at it from her point of view at this point. So,
okay.
Stepping into her shoes, I'll try to step into her shoes, and I'll ask you, for clarity along the way here. So she observed that you gave her some work. I don't know. The details probably don't really matter. So work was given to her. And then at this point, she went to your boss. What do you think her feelings were when she received the work and was contemplating whether she should go and talk to your boss or not?
Yeah, she's probably thinking, James is being lazy. He wants me to do what he should be doing, and he's not appreciating how much work I already have, so he's making unreasonable requests of me.
Okay. What I heard was probably an analysis of the situation, and that might be true. She might have been made that analysis. What do you think the feeling was?
Probably some kind of terror of me saying, like, what are you doing? Or just like surprise and irritation. Like, I've been doing this for the last couple of months, and yeah, I know James doesn't like it, but wow, he never like sent me 10 messages in an hour trying to figure out what I'm doing. He's really pushing too hard, and I don't like it.
Okay. Fear, irritation. Okay, gotcha. And then she went to your boss. What do you think was underlying the potential fear or irritation? What was beneath that?
Well, yeah, I'm just thinking as if I'm her. What if somebody thinks that I'm not doing my job, and then like I'll be embarrassed, or I'll be scolded, or I'll be written up or criticized for doing the wrong thing, and my work that I've been working so hard on will not be appreciated. It'll all be wasted, and people will only see this bad thing that is really just James's misunderstanding. It's not who I am. It's not what I'm really doing.
So what I'm hearing you kind of speculate about, because we don't really know this for certain, but it sounds like this fear and irritation might be the root cause of that. Might be like she wants to be like in a safe place, kind of where she doesn't want to get criticized or rock the boat or stuff like that. I'm hearing.
Yeah, definitely. She'd like to be in a safe, comfortable place where she's not getting criticized, she's not getting doubted, she's not getting interrogated. but rather people just trust her process, trust her trust her in a profound way.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we kind of went through what from your point of view, and we went through it with her point of view. Is there any possible solutions now that we went through both?
One possible solution is that I, James, take it on like I'm used to doing, just like I'll just do it. Somebody's not doing it, I'll do it.
Okay.
There's more work, I'll figure out a way to do more.
One possible solution.
Yeah.
Any
that's one
alternative solutions?
Another solution would be kind of like to figure out what priorities I have that I just need to do these things. And then some other things that maybe I'm doing that are extra that I can just drop. And we'd lose something, but we wouldn't lose the whole boat. Some people are going to be upset and probably come to me and say, you were doing this before, why aren't you doing it? And I'll say something like, sorry, it's true we were doing that, and we're not doing that right now because there are other priorities. So something like that, like prioritizing without pushing things on her, but just for myself, prioritizing, making sure I'm getting my work done and kind of allowing the dust to settle around me.
Okay. All right. So what I'm hearing is you could essentially do all of the work. Another solution would be to just do some of the work. Some of the other work gets dropped. Is there any other solutions, or are those the only two?
The third one would be something like approaching her in the most kind of compassionate way possible. So approaching her with the intention of reconnecting. So not to approach her so that I tell her my side and that she understands me, but simply to approach her and find some kind of relational reconnection so that our conversation restarts.
Okay, I gotcha. Do you think how I was talking to you and hearing out your side, and then obviously you speculated on her side, if you were to ask her kind of the same questions I did, where it was like I repeated back what you observed, I asked what you were feeling, I asked what was alive inside of you, and then I asked what was underlying that. Do you think that might be a approach that might work for talking with her about this issue?
I didn't follow the question. Can
Okay.
you say that again?
Yeah, so I kind of went through what is called nonviolent communication, sort of. You kind of told me the observations that you made, the whole scenario. I repeated it back to you. I asked you how you felt about it. I asked what was supporting that feeling, what was underlying that feeling that you had. And do you think that might be an approach if you talk to her in that kind of way? Do you think that might help find a possible solution?
I feel helpless in relation to you now. The way you talked to me was what was I still couldn't get it.
Nonviolent communication.
The nonviolent communication term I got, but the actual steps that you led me through. I know something about her observations, and then what?
Well, we kind of went through both sides. So like the observation, the feeling, and then what was supporting the feeling.
So let me just say, this is why I feel so helpless, because I'm an old hand at NVC. I know OFNR. I know all of that. I know Marshall and all that. I do.
Perfect.
But somehow when you said it, I was just putting it together, and really hearing what you said, I was like, was in a maelstrom. So can you walk me through it like I am 5 years old?
Okay.
What would I do in relation to her? And it is possibly.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to put on James's hat here. I'm going to pretend to be James. Okay.
Hey, James.
So, hi.
Nice background.
Don't look at the sign. Okay. So, I am now James. Let's say your coworker's name is Alyssa. Okay, so I'd say, hey, Alyssa, I, yesterday was, perhaps a rough day. I think it was a rough day for both of us, perhaps. So, what I saw that you had gone to Mark, my superior. You had talked to him about your workload, and I'm wondering how you what are you feeling? Let's leave it at that. How are you feeling, James? If you want to pretend to be Alyssa, how do you think she'd
I'll be
respond?
Alyssa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Alyssa would say, are you serious? You're going to ask me that after the things you said? You know what I'm doing. And I've said it already to Mark. But I really can't work in a situation like this. There's too much pressure, and like and you're, is that what you want? Is that what you want? You want me to do more because that I have the summer session coming up, and I'm not getting any help. I'm doing that alone, and this is just not going to work. So
I'm sensing a lot of frustration here, and I really want to hear you out. I really want to know. I want to know what's alive inside.
And did you read
right
my
now.
email? Did you read my email? Because I sent you my email, and I have to do I have to do the schedules for the drivers, and I asked you to do the insurance. You didn't talk to the insurance guy, but and then the dead squirrel just was the last straw. And so if I have to make things manageable for myself. And why are you coming? Why are you coming to the university to meet me? That was just weird.
It does sound like you are really frustrated at the moment. I'd really like to talk to you about this. Is that something that you'd like to do?
Yeah, well, we're talking right now, so what did you want to say?
Terrific. Okay. Yeah, I really would like to.
Because I go
know...
to the university every Tuesday, you know that, and when I go there, I need a little bit of space. I can't work in that office with the squirrels running around, and it's hot, and it's just boring, and I have my limits.
Okay, we can talk about the squirrels. Let's talk about the office. That it sounds like that's something that's really important to you.
Oh, that was the worst experience all year that I had. Squirrels coming out of the ceiling, dying on the floor. I can't get that out of my head.
James, what kind of office you running here?
Wow. Okay, so what? How do you feel about that now?
Honestly, it disgusts me. I feel like my cubicle is contaminated with rabies. I'm imagining that there's like squirrel feces in the ceiling. It's driving me crazy. I can't even sit here anymore.
Get her a new office, man.
Time out. Because I'm not making.
I don't know. There might be powerlessness in leadership. It sounds like there's also powerlessness in the worker too here.
Patch up the hole. Get the squirrels out. Call the exterminator. Something.
We had this exterminator come in 4
Okay.
times.
They're
4
crafty.
times. And then we walked in and there were dead squirrels on the floor. It was horrifying.
Jeez.
The exterminators threw poison packets into the ceiling. And we're like, is that really the solution? Because then we're going to have to go into the ceiling
Yeah,
and
you
get...
gotta catch them out. That's not how you
That-
treat squirrels.
No.
Look, this was new for me. This was a new extermination experience with the exterminators and everything. It sounded crazy to me. But
thought you
I
put
was
cages
living...
on the outside of the hole where they're at and bait them.
That's what they said they would do. That's what they said they would do. But they're public housing, and public housing, slow process. And we were in a bind because the whole office was like terrorized. It was like war. The squirrels were at war with us. They were running around on the ceiling. You didn't know if they were going to like drop in on you. I mean, it was like a nightmare. It was a nightmare. And I was terrorized. And yeah, I was there way more than her. I was being terrorized more than her, but I get it. She's also found it really unsettling.
Why didn't you just use the squirrels as the extra help? They could do the insurance, the driver schedules. I mean, you had the manpower there. I mean, I don't understand why you give them something to do. They won't be bothering you. They'll be too busy.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Is there a list of all this stuff like written out, like her grievances? Is it all like listed out anywhere?
No. I have not written out my grievances, and she has not written out hers. What she wrote to my supervisor was, and I don't know, I'm not critical of this, but it was just surprising. It was just a list of all the wonderful things she had done. And I read that and I was like, it wasn't like the typical letter I would expect, which is like, James did this and James did that.
Yeah.
Almost none of that. It was all like, by the way, did you know I'm awesome? Like, and
maybe she's looking for a pat on the back, like a little acknowledgement for her work.
She's looking for acknowledgement and appreciation for her work. Yeah.
Is that something that's you can reasonably give to her?
I do appreciate her. She is essential to the department, and she works really hard, and she's excellent. And it's really unfortunate there are just these 1 or 2 or 3 key things that really get under my skin that somehow make it harder for me to just appreciate her. She always interrupts me. She doesn't tell me what she's doing, and without like my agreement, she has just decided that even though she's a full-time worker, she only works for 8 hours in the office. And the other 32 are like her time to decide how it gets like used. And it's just crazy to me. It's like, how could anybody like it? If I ever had a job like that and did that, I just would expect to be fired immediately. And somehow, anyhow, so that's those thoughts or that stuff is like, it makes it really hard for me to give like a full-throated like, you're great and I need you so much and you're really helping me do things. Have
you considered just complimenting the things that she does instead of trying to bolster her as a person? Just say, hey, that report came in well. These things are running very smooth. And those are objective facts that are, you don't have to butter up. It's not having to be disingenuous.
For sure. I think I've done that and I'm happy to do more of that. It's true. It's not disingenuous. So, maybe not all, but many of the things she wrote about are true. I do appreciate all the things, many of the things she wrote as being, you did that. That was helpful. That was great. And
I missed first half of this conversation, and I apologize. I had to step away for a second. But can I offer a suggestion of what I think?
Yeah, of course, please.
I think that you should sit down and try to write down everything you think that she's upset about, and then as her manager, like make that list out, and then try to make like goals on when these things could either be resolved, changed, or if there's nothing you can do about it. Like like they're saying there's no help. It's like, well, if we could get these things done, maybe we could talk about this at this time, or the office is at. Well, this is the quarter when we can address office requests or something like that. Like literally itemize the things.
David, I hate to reject your advice out of hand.
Oh, I'll take it.
But when you say that, the mental image I get when you say that is like, I am this drowning person, and I'm like reaching out for like the lifeguard's hand, and the lifeguard is like, "Can you pay for my next, certificate course?" And I'm like, blah 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 blah. The idea of like working to help her while I'm like drowning, and she's coming in 2 days a week, is like, if there's something in me that is like, burn the place down.
Well,
burn it all down.
To clarify what I'm saying, I hear what you're saying, and what I want to clarify is what I'm saying. When you're writing down her needs, you're systematically showing where your needs come up in that, when your needs as the person and as her manager. So she says, I need this, and this is the explanation of why you act the way that you do, or this is, if that's something they want, then we need to do this. If and then. This is a way to communicate your needs. That's not just a flippant, get it in when you can. When you see her, it's like you sit down, you get a time, and it's a time that you can take appreciation for specific things that she's doing. Doesn't have to say that she's great. You don't have to say that she's a wonderful person. She might be. You don't have to say it if you don't want to.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is that to the degree with which I can consider what she wants and how she's frustrated and what she's not getting, the degree with which I can consider that, it's going to make it easier for me to meet her where she is.
You're saying that you want her to, she's down here doing whatever she's doing. You're wanting her to be doing this stuff up here. As your manager, maybe you could use your skill set and your perspective to help navigate how to get from there to here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's too busy looking over here. I mean, I've been there. I was a project manager for a thing that I literally, my phone never stopped getting. I was in so many group chats. I was in so many email strings. And I had 200 properties I had to keep up with, and I was drowning. I get it. And it's without somebody from a bird's eye view sometimes, or who's walked the path before, you can get really hyper focused on one thing or two things or 20 things.
Yes.
But there's 20 other things that are hard to see.
And that's, and it feels so tragic, because when I was saying to her, hey, what are you doing today? Is the project done? I was not saying like, what are you doing? You're not doing anything. You're bad. I wasn't saying like, is the project done? It should be done. I was thinking like, what, just like you said, like, what are you doing today? If you're doing 10 tasks, might we find 3 tasks you're doing that are unnecessary to make it easier for you to succeed? Is the project done? If not, maybe maybe I can help you, or maybe somebody can help you, so that we make sure it gets done. Not like you didn't do it and so you're bad. But somehow I didn't say that. I didn't articulate that. And I think it was taken as like, what are you doing today? You're not doing anything. And is the project done? You should have finished it, which was not my intention. So yeah, I think that's,
she heard a criticism when you were not criticizing. You were trying to assist, really.
To gather data to assist effectively. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what you wanted to do was assist. Oh, sorry, Pierce. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way you explained it to us, say that to her. Because then I think she's a lot less likely to hear a criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you're doing a pleasantry. Oh, what are you doing today? It's like that's not the question. The question is I
And
know there's something you need to do. Can I help you? Or you say, I've got some time right now. I can help you with something. Is there anything that you're stuck on?
and to be honest, in my mind I was criticizing her. In my mind I had mixed feelings. In my mind I was like, are you like not doing anything? But when I wrote it out, it was kind of like in between, where it was like, hey, what are you doing? And so it left it ambiguous. And I think she defaulted to negative, where I thought for whatever reason she would default to positive. I don't know why I thought that, but now I think that was a mistake. Let me make it explicitly positive when I write, so that there is not the chance of it, so it's not ambiguous. Make it unambiguous. I'm not criticizing you. I would like to help if possible. Yeah, I could see that having a different.
How do you feel after talking it out here at this point?
Oh yeah, it's a huge relief. I'm still like, it's still a lot of like noise in my head around this, but I think if I just focus on taking away like a few things, it would be talking it through to her in that way, which shows that I do appreciate her and want to support her rather than want to make things harder for her.
Yeah. And you can stop being a powerless manager and be solving problems. Are the squirrels gone at least?
The squirrels are gone.
Okay.
Did you disinfect the place?
Yeah, I did some Lysol.
Good.
Is it like recent? Like, was it like yesterday, the day before? Or?
It was this week. Yeah, it was.
You should
Oh gosh, yeah.
do a gesture. Like, go in with like extra Clorox wipes. Like put some stuff in there. Like, you don't even
Get some
have to do that much,
Febreze.
but literally just put some Clorox wipes on the cubicle and be like, "Yeah, I'm just wiping it down a little bit. I was thinking about it." Boom. That's a gesture. It's a bid. You've heard that from Gottman. It's usually like
tell
marriage
me.
counseling. It's just like usually used between like married couples, but it's not the same. It's basically,
No, I see the
be aware of whenever someone who cares about you that you're fighting with is offering a bid of a gesture to say, I'm trying to do something nice, even if like it doesn't solve the problem, even if it doesn't, if you're not getting your needs addressed in that way, it's not meant to replace that, but it's meant to add, like, to loosen you up a little bit so you're more open to them getting there. Be aware of it. And then also do it yourself. It adds up.
You mean making the bids?
Yeah.
Making the offer to the gestures, yeah.
Olive branches, those kind of things. Gestures.
Definitely. All right, I'm sweating now. This is
Maybe
getting
get her
hard.
a stuffed squirrel.
I'll get her a stuffed squirrel.
I don't suggest that. Don't do that. That's no.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Gas on the fire.
All right, thank you guys. Lovely to meet you here and have you here and talk with you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you too.
Hope
Thanks
to,
for coming
talk
up.
to you
That was
again.
great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Super. Okay, take it easy.
We'll see you next time. Tell us how
Great.
if the squirrels come
I'll
back.
tell you how it went. I'll tell you how it turned out.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Bye.
All right. So to kind of reset the room, we got Sean coming up next, and I'll bring him up in just a moment. But what we're trying to do here is we have people come up. We talk about something that's important to them. A lot of times it's something they believe, or in this case, it was this whole situation, which was really cool to talk about. We've never talked about something exactly like that, so it was kind of neat to do that. But yeah, that's kind of the process, and yeah, we'll bring Sean up next. Hey, Sean. How's it going?
Hello,
Hello.
everyone.
Hey.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for this. It's very nice of you to spend your time, and I don't want to be a lick ass, but it's like it's very kind of you to devote your time to answering the questions we have, which
Yeah.
brings me to my own question. Funnily enough, how I did prepared, but now I'm on the stage. It's a bit more difficult, but
It's all right.
Take your
yeah,
time.
just give me 2 seconds. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Take a water break while you figure it out.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Yeah, I am a little bit drunk. As people in chat confirm.
Yeah, I saw the lively
But,
discussion.
Last week we did talk to someone who was also drunk.
but I'm trying to behave and everything. And my question would be, how are you supposed to have a normal life if you suffer with anxiety? That's my question.
So, like,
And
what
just to if, and then I'll shut up. Don't worry.
No, we're here.
Yeah, and without the aid of other substances, being it drugs like medication, let's say, or alcohol, or other things. That's my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before we get started, I just want to say that today, David, as far as I know, and myself, we're not therapists or doctors or medical professionals in any way, and we will not be giving any medical or psychological advice or therapy. So, just with that being said, we're two laymen who have no idea what we're talking about, and we should be considered that. But with that being said, so I think you're asking what a good strategy would be for coping with anxiety. I think that's what I'm hearing.
Um, y- let's yes. Um, the original question was like, excuse me, if like I'm 32 years old and I've been suffering from it for most of my life, and even doing this, it's quite difficult for me. It's crazy, really, when you think about it. Just talking to, like, there's no reason to be anxious or whatever, but you are anyway.
What do you mean by anxious? Like, what are you describing?
Nervousness, the feeling in your belly, like a ball in your belly, something like that. Um, nausea sometimes when it's really bad. When you've got something important to do, because let's face it, well, I think we've got other jobs, don't we? For example. And sometimes I'm required, this is just an example, I'm required to do a presentation in front of the whole company. And it's like 100 plus more people. And I fucking shit my pants every time. I don't know why. I know most of these people. So I don't. It's weird. Maybe I'm a special case, as they say, but so it's still anxiety. And I've been to the doctor, taking pills and stuff like that. The only thing that really seems to help me is alcohol, which is why I'm drunk at the minute. And I hope that's not against the rules. I'm sorry if it is, but
No, we don't control your life in that way.
All right, it's
Um,
good, but it's not good. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm gonna speculate on what I think might be underlying at least some of the anxiety. Like you gave the example of giving a presentation in front of
Yeah,
the company that you work at.
yeah,
And in that situation, I would speculate that fear of judgment might be underlying that anxiety. Does that resonate with you? Does that
yeah.
make
Well,
sense?
maybe I need to clarify. I mean, it's like I work in insurance, right?
Yeah.
So it's not the most riveting or interesting subject you ever listen to in your life. And when I gave my last presentation, for example, one of the managers put his feet on the table and proceeded to pretend he was sleeping while I was talking. That's not very nice,
hmm.
for example. Right. And I understand this. It's not that interesting when you're talking about maritime transport and like the marriage and who knows the profit commission and all that bollocks like insurance things, but like there's a minimum of respect as well to be had, and I understand that, but it's just to give you an example, and that, for example, it terrified me. It fucking terrified me.
Okay.
It was a bad experience. So I don't know if you're even able to answer the question or not. But
Yeah, I don't think I can directly answer the question. We can talk about this. Do you think talking about this might help you?
I talk about it a lot. I hmm.
Would you like to
No, not. I mean, I wouldn't want to take your time or anything like that. If,
No,
I
I'm
don't
fascinated
think
by
that
this kind of
that's what
stuff,
you
honestly,
mean.
Sean. I mean, these are the kind of things in the world that I want to try to figure out. I don't know if I'll do it. I'm definitely not a professional, but if
Well, I don't mind if you want. If you don't mind, basically, maybe it would help. You know.
well, I'm
And
just going
I've
to pull
already
some things from
tried
my
it,
rear.
talking about it to loads of people and stuff. You know. And I've tried different solutions they've proposed, and none of them has worked so far. But
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, it's like I feel kind of lost at all. And it's
Do
not
things
just because
work
I'm
for a
drunk.
while, or do they just
A
not work at
lot
all?
has got to do with the alcohol and etc. I guess. I
Hmm.
understand that at least I'm not in denial, and I want to change that too, basically. But it's like,
Do you find things
why
work for a
have
while,
to
or
um have could you put that in a context
like
for
you've
me?
you've you've tried different types of techniques or thought processes or things like that, and you're saying it hasn't really done it for you? Does
Oh,
things ever work for a while and then stop, or do you feel as though nothing changes at all?
I've the most I did was like 3 months, and that was cool because like it was something called meditation and all that stuff, and
Hmm.
that kind of worked for a while. It motivated me some kind of way, but in the long run, I just got bored, and then I couldn't like find something, a hobby, or basically a lot of people say you have to replace it with something else,
Hmm.
and for me, I'm not. I'm not able to do that. There's nothing that I've found so far. But anyway, now I'm just talking about me, and the whole point was about anxiety and how to deal with it. So, yeah.
What I'm wondering, Sean,
Mm.
is
Oh,
you talked about that one specific example with the presentation,
mm-hmm.
and I think we kind of decided that fear was probably one of the biggest factors in your anxiety. And
I'm
I'm
aware it
wondering.
might be self-induced for no reason at all, but for
Oh,
some
okay.
reason it is.
Hmm.
Like, I
Self.
don't really have nothing to be afraid of. I can go up, like, literally, I could do the presentation in my pants. Like, honestly.
I think there might be
That
things to be.
that wouldn't make me nervous. It's the reaction of the people I'm talking to that makes me nervous. No, that's what makes me nervous, and that
Yeah,
is it's like
I think that's something that a lot of people would be nervous or fearful of. I think. I think.
they
I think
don't
we
bully me,
all.
bro. They don't.
I
They
think we
like me a
all.
lot, and I make them
Yeah.
laugh. I'm just answering this guy in the chat that's been persecuting me for ever since I joined, but no problem. But I, God, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm the wrong person for you to have here.
Hey, Sean, you're welcome here right now.
I apologize. I
Don't you
apologize. To be
you're overthinking it at
mm,
this point. Well, you can
mm,
think about it as much as you want, but I'll tell you, I'm not kicking you off right now. You're welcome here to continue this conversation if you want. You don't, if that's the thought that you're thinking, it's not what I'm communicating.
no, but maybe like I'm talking about my little problems. Maybe there's someone else who has a better question than I do, for example, like something. But I thought it would be good to talk about it because
Yeah,
I'm sure I'm not the only one who suffers from anxiety. Like,
definitely not.
so
Hmm.
I just thought it would be a good thing to talk about. That's all. And yeah,
That's
it's not easy, but if someone else wants to talk, like, don't feel you have to waste your time anymore with me, like, kind of thing.
Sean. Imagine
Uh,
your best friend said they deal with anxiety and they feel like they just can't do anything to fix it. What would you say to them?
I asked one of my best friends that question, and he looked at me and he laughed and he said, "Why do you care? Why do you care what people think about you?"
No,
And
not imagining that you're telling your
I'm
best friend that you have
mm,
anxiety. I'm saying if your like
mm,
if someone you really
uh,
cared about was saying what you're
okay,
saying, how would you
yeah.
respond?
Oh, ah, I'd say something like me too, brother, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
But like, basically, you have to practice. You have to do things kind of out of your comfort zone, even though they're really difficult at times. But to do, that's what I'd say. And I'd say that I wish we weren't so similar.
Hmm.
Mm,
That's some
mm,
empathy right there.
mm.
Hmm. And you said you've struggled to find hobbies and stuff like that. Just
Yeah,
the cost
I
of
can
entry
count
to.
on one hand things I like doing. Like it's crazy, you know? But again, this is my life. You know?
Yeah.
don't want to subject the whole audience to this. It'd be terrifying. Well, not really. I'm a simple person.
What do you
It's-
imagine gradual let's say 10 is the worst. 1 is like no anxiety whatsoever. Where are you at right now on a typical basis?
Right now, as I'm talking to you guys, you've made me feel quite welcome and comfortable. I'd say 3 or 4.
All right.
That's it. Something
Cool.
like that. More 3.
Right on.
Well,
When you're doing your work presentation, where are you at?
A solid 8. I'd
Solid
say.
8.
Mm.
Now, what do you imagine like a 6 or a 5 would look like at your work presentation?
6 or 5. What do you mean by that?
So,
Excuse
like,
me.
if you feel like you're in an 8 when you're at your presentation,
Yeah.
and let's say the very next presentation you go to, you've done something different, or something's just changed either by chance or effort, and you feel like you're at a 6 or an 8. I mean, a 6 or a 5.
Positive or negative, or I get to choose.
Yeah, so like you feel better. You feel 2 or 3 points better than you did the last
Well,
time.
then you've got your own answer.
But
It's a 6.
what do you think that would feel like differently, like viscerally? Like, do you think you would still have the
Relief,
the gut
for example.
feeling?
Still there, I'd say, but not as bad as before.
Yeah.
Also, depends on the reaction. It's like it could like, but yeah, relief. That's, at least I didn't fuck the whole thing up. Kind of reaction, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. Sometimes it gets complicated, but most of the time it isn't really. You know? But as usual, you get arseholes
Oh, sure.
that you have to deal with. So
One of my
that's,
favorite books that I read at one point in my life is called The Road Less Traveled by Scott M. Peck. And the very first sentence of the book is "Life is difficult," and it basically the first chapter is about how life
the
is
road is long, maybe.
Yeah, the road is like difficult, but when you expect the road to be easy, you're disappointed a lot. But we understand there's difficulties and there's assholes and there's things like that. You're not as surprised, and I think in a lot of ways that you probably already understand that. But
Oh no, I'm not. Don't think I'm stupid by any means. I just like I'm just a bit socially handicapped, you know. Like not autistic or not no offense, but not to the extreme level of being it. But I do sometimes struggle when I'm around people as well, and it's that's the whole anxiety thing, and I've got a really good memory. Like, I'm 32, I can remember when I was 6 years old, things I was doing and stuff. Like, I've got a good memory, and for most of my life, I've had this problem. And as I guess everyone's different, right? I'm unfortunate enough to have that, okay? But it could be much worse. I could have much worse compared, for example. You're taking the time today to actually listen to this, which is quite honourable, I would say. Be fair.
Well,
So,
I really
so
appreciate you
thank
putting
you.
yourself out here.
Thank you. No, thank you for listening anyway. And God, it's nice to say
Yeah.
sometimes.
I hear you, man. Well, next time we're here at this hub, or follow our channel and check it out, call in sometime whenever you're not as deep in the weeds, and maybe we can kind of see how it feels to talk about it in a different mindset, different mind state.
Yeah. Once I'm a bit better. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
All right, Sean. We're gonna hit
Well,
the
thanks
next caller
for
here.
thanks for listening. Anyway. Yep, sure.
Absolutely. You have a good night. All right.
You too. Thanks.
All right. We will. Is that your buddy in the audience, David?
Yeah, that's Amora.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Amora.
We've had many a chats on my channel.
All right, let's bring him up. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, David. Hey, Pierce. Glad to
Yeah.
speak for the first time, I believe.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I was doom scrolling, I suppose, as the kids call it these days, and I saw my buddy David pop up in my notifications and the live signal there. I was like, oh, what's he talking about?
Mhm.
Let's jump in there. Let's see if we can explore some ideas that I've been rattling around in my dusty old brain.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
what
So
you
I'm not familiar with the channel or what is possible.
It's wide
But,
open for the most part. Just don't
Okay.
D-bad. Don't be a dick. That's all.
Oh, you
Yeah.
know me. You know me. So yeah, there's an issue I've been dealing with that is quite personal to me. In terms of, I don't know if the word is going to be censored on YouTube now because that kind of ties into it, but it regards to an individual basically not wanting to be alive anymore.
Mm.
Okay. We can
And
say an individual unaliving themselves.
Okay. And that does kind of tie into the point as well. And wanting to be fully respectful, but also as someone who has been through this personally myself. It is an important issue and one that I feel needs to be talked about.
Mm.
Is that agreed?
Yeah, we're open to talk about
I think
it.
so. Yeah.
Okay.
I am. Piercy.
Because kind of
Sure.
the point is I think it is not talked about enough as part of the human condition, as part of being a human being. What I've noticed within the last half a year or so, I've noticed certain platforms, certain social media sites, and certain even like YouTube or Google. If you go and you put that word into like a certain search engine, you begin like the S word. No results show up.
Hmm.
It's almost like it has been blacklisted as a topic of discussion or being able to acknowledge that this is a very dramatic or important part of a lot of people's lives and something that a lot of people have gone through and had to live through. And I feel that is completely harmful. It's incredibly harmful not to acknowledge or to talk about, perhaps, that this is an active part of being human. It happens. And it's something that many people have had to go through and that we have had to live with. And the fact that it's like almost being restricted or silenced is certainly for me as somebody who's been there. It seems it's almost like a slap in the face. It's like it's not worth talking about.
What do you think the general reason is that these companies are filtering it out?
As someone who is not on social media except for Discord, as you know, David. I, and someone who has other friends and unfortunately has beautiful friends who are no longer with us because of it. I try to rationalize it, but it is incredibly difficult to understand why corporations who run like media sites would want this information restricted, or even I've seen the term now unalive.
Mhm.
Unalive is a term that I've seen cropped up in the last couple of months in like YouTube videos that I see, and it's so alien to me. Again, but I grew up in, decades before all this. Like, this is not my generation. So maybe the people in charge who are trying to appeal to the current generation are trying to be more sensitive. But in that, I think they're taking it away. Like, they're trying to. It seems like they're taking away how important it is to actually acknowledge that this is a very serious issue. Like, it sounds almost comical to say, oh, like, he unalived himself. It again, like, that slap, the verbal slap in the face. It's like, no, that's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to watch language adapt in real time almost to these filters. I mean, unalive and I feel like I could name some if I hadn't tried to think about it, but it's like nobody's forcing people to use that word, but like that's become like the common vernacular.
Yeah, and I never use those words until today because I'm trying to be respectful. I understand that you guys stream and you're on YouTube. I don't want you guys to get your videos demonetized or anything like that. But in normal conversation, I would never use those terms because I grew up in a different generation, and those words are very important and they carry a specific meaning and a weight to them.
I'm wondering, Hamora. So I agree with you that talking about this topic is really, really important, and I think we should. And I'm wondering if it's possible that if someone talks about it or says something, whatever it might be, is it within possibility that something they say using one of those words or talking about the topic might do more harm than it would do good?
Not in the sense I'm thinking of. Because as someone who has gone through those situations and seeing other people who have not been able to succeed through those situations and who are no longer here with us, I see in particular this kind of situation. It is certainly something to be overcome. It is certainly something to be battled with on an individual level. But somebody who has gone through that battlefield, who has been to their lowest point, who has fought their inner demons, you can only get stronger from that. If somebody tells me that they had a similar experience to me or other people that I've come in contact with, and talking about this, it feels perhaps insensitive to them or they feel slightly offended. I would say perhaps there are certainly things they're still battling with as an individual. Or perhaps a stronger point being that you didn't go as low as I did. You didn't get as close to literally just ceasing to be as I did. Like again, not to take away from anybody's experience, but some people hit rock bottom. Some people just like will sink into the abyss and think that there's no way out. Think that they are already gone in many senses of the word. And perhaps there's also an element of thinking you're there, but in terms of like true experience, you never really understand until you're actually at that point.
Are you saying that you feel as though that this kind of censoring and this almost goofy sounding way of describing it is like almost denying the problem for people? It's like saying like you're not really that bad off because it's almost something goofy to talk about or something.
In part, yes. You know me well, David. I delve into experiential philosophy, and I delve into like the core of what it is to experience, and that was a very life-jarring experience for me, as well as experiencing people who I can no longer talk to.
Yeah.
And it is an incredible thing, and unfortunately, there are people who they don't have that experience. So perhaps it is very easy for them to write off. It's very easy to say, hey, no, I understand you went through that point, but you're still here, so get on with your life. But there are certain experiences, what I've come to understand, that a human being will go through, that unless you have gone through that experience, it is almost impossible for another human being to empathetically understand. And censoring it, saying that your individual experience, what you went through, and therefore perhaps even limiting the empathetic experience of being able to discuss it or share with other individuals who have been to rock bottom, who have seen the pits of hell, and then come back from it. I think that's damaging to the human experience and to human beings.
Let me start and say, I agree with you. I think that people should be able to talk about this. I think it's important as human beings for us to interact with this idea with each other, to support each other, to be able to empathize and say, I've seen that, I felt that feeling, that sucks. I don't wish that on anybody. If I could do any of these things, whatever. That's the human need, and that's completely understandable, and I'm on board with. And I'm going to ask you some more questions about that. But the company, the social media platform is not a human, and the only need that the company has is to make money.
Yes,
and I'm pretty sure that advertisers, like you want to sell Coca-Cola, and you have a Coke ad come on your thing, and then it immediately finishes up with and there I was at my darkest point, doing something very heinous, something. I think advertisers are very scared of having such serious topics be something that can interfere with their ads and the feeling that people associate with their products. And I don't think it's necessarily good, but I think that is just kind of the nature of the beast.
Well,
but,
I absolutely agree, but this isn't a product we're talking about. This is an aspect of living as a human being.
If can I ask you a little bit about your personal experience?
Sure.
In a distance way, if it's okay.
All right.
When you were in your more darker moments, at which you felt the most overwhelmed, what would you have liked to seen? What would you have liked to, if you do you have, at this point, do you feel any kind of clarity of things that, man, I really wish I could have, someone would have said this. I really wish somebody would have done this. I really wish I would have said this or done this. any of those could pop up after your experience?
Yes. Because I went through those moments myself, and I know how it affected me, I think I'm a little bit more attuned to recognizing it in other people. That's part of the empathetic part, being able to recognize where I was those years ago. And there were a few moments where, again, I was lost in the abyss, but there were a few striking moments where I realized that my actions and behavior were still affecting other people, which was a very important step for me as well. Being that people were watching me, but it was very few and far between. So that would be a key point. That also, in not talking about it and not educating people about it is dangerous, because if you're not educated, you don't know what it looks like, even whether you've experienced it or not. If someone is in that position, you might not recognize it, and then they'll be gone next day. You can step in. You can say, "Hey, like, you acted this way and it got me concerned," or "I saw this and it kind of hurt me a little bit." So it's like, even that, because being in that position, being so far gone almost to the point, it feels like no one is affecting you and you're not affecting anybody else. So for anybody who is in that position, I openly do encourage, you are affecting other people. They might not speak out about it because maybe they weren't brought up that way or educated, but you are projecting that energy and that just being out there in the world. And hopefully you come across somebody who is wise enough to see it and pick up on it and speak to you about it. But yeah, just
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's important things, and I appreciate you sharing your perspective on that. Did you have somebody notice your absence, so to speak?
Yes, I did. My sister, and it broke my fucking heart. It did. Just, I got very much in that mindset. That's the other thing. Again, like, there's also kind of a stereotype, a stigma about the S word, where you get kind of all caught up in yourself, and like it's all about them. It's all about me. And like, but it's not. Other people tie into that as well. And if a family member or somebody comes to you and say, "Hey, your actions, what you did, like it affected me," that can help bring you back. It can. Because there's somebody who's like, "Hey, what you're doing, it hurt me as well, and I see it. And I don't want to hurt anybody. I never have. But part of me, my individual journey, getting caught up in myself, was that nobody cares about me. I don't care about anybody else. But realizing the effect that it has, actually seeing it ripple and create in like a scar in the world, that was part of the building block of the foundation I have today and why I'm still here.
Yeah. I like that. Like, I think my values and my my pursuits in doing this and working with Pierce and stuff like that, in a lot of ways, is in a way kind of for that. In that way, I value people being seen, and this is a chance to talk about real life things with people who probably would just be going about their day otherwise. I don't know. I like giving people the chance to exist, if that makes sense. If they want to.
Yeah, I believe it was Albert Camus who said the most important question in philosophy is that question: should you exist or should you not?
I a very influential Instagram account called Scumbad Dad has a song that says, "Don't kill yourself. Time will do it for you." There's some philosophy for you there.
I thought you were going in a different direction there, David. I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was both on that. You bastard! I hate you so much. That's you just had to bring it out of the moment. You had to bring us back to laughing. I appreciate that.
Comedy and tragedy is this is
No, it's
same
two
coin.
sides of the same coin.
There we
Yeah,
go,
of
the
course
coin.
it is. Yeah, that's why I can joke about my experience as well. I make morbid and black jokes because I've lived through it, and I've been through. Again, there's the beautiful friends I can't talk to anymore, but there's still the funny side of it. Like, it's like, would they want me to be here and be a miserable wretch? It's like, oh, they slap the shit out of me if they saw like, whatever darkness they went through, they were not able to overcome, and God have mercy on them. But we can all learn from their experience, and we can gain something from it and be all the more stronger in the end, I feel.
Yeah. Well, this is a good chat, Maura. I appreciate you. I don't think we live near each other, but if you ever want to find a way to get near me and you need somebody to slap the shit out of you, I can help.
I think we're actually closer than you think if I remember where you are. But
well, we won't talk about it.
Yeah, no worries.
Pierce, anything?
No, I was just happy to listen in. Thanks for sharing, Hamara.
Yeah, thank you guys. I love you both. Namaste.
Namaste.
All right. And then there was two.
Hello.
So what we're doing here is you can raise your hand. We'll bring you up on stage. Kind of talk about something that's important to you, something you believe is true. Stuff along those lines. Taylor said that Cardboard David slaps harder than Fake David.
And then back
Oh,
there,
maybe.
yeah. That's where 2-Day David. That's the name 2-Day David. This guy back here, he was born yesterday. I go around asking people explains things to a guy born yesterday. That's my shtick. But yeah, Taylor, you come find me and we'll test it out.
How does he have
Not
body
violent
armor?
communication.
Is that
Yeah.
violent communication?
Jeez.
All right. Well, we got nobody with their hands up. Are we gonna wrap it up then, or are we gonna try to entertain the crowd?
We'll sit through about 2 of your dad jokes, and if we're all set here, we'll probably go to the after party, and maybe I'll get actual sleep tonight.
Yeah. Wait, you put me on the spot for a dad joke?
If you don't want to,
I don't know if I got one. Dad jokes. Yeah, I'm coming up blank at the moment.
yeah, I can't think of anything. The worst I can think of is what's a mommy's favorite type of music?
Tell
Rap.
me. Ah, he told me.
I told you. I'm
Yo,
sorry.
yo, yo, yo.
Oh, you had to bust some rhymes.
Yeah.
That's what we need. That's what we need. Thanks to everybody who joined in the audience. Thanks to everybody who watched on YouTube. We'll probably stream this on X next week, even though we don't really use it, but it'll be an info hub. And really enjoyed it. This is a great server, everybody. It's been a great experience talking to the people at the English hub. Everybody's been really kind, and we rotate different servers every week or so. We usually do this Friday nights. You can check out our YouTube channels, which you'll see probably linked in the servers. And if you're on YouTube, you just keep your eyes open. And yeah, I had a good night. I was so tired. I fell asleep putting my kids to bed, and I almost missed this. And,
Man, I wouldn't have been a happy camp. You would have been sleeping.
my
Oh,
phone was
man.
across the room charging. It was a disaster, man. I got real lucky. But thanks everybody. I really enjoyed the chats. Pierce, anything you want to add here?
Yeah, like you were saying, Fridays at the whatever time zone you're in, you figure it out.
Yeah.
We won't be here next week. We will be in Christ-centered Christianity next week. So that'll be a ton of fun over there. If you want to follow us on X, I'll be posting like the link to that server and stuff, so you guys can figure out our schedule that way. Or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. That will give you an indication too. Comment, subscribe, press the bell button, all that good stuff.
We're going to be the call-in show, Mr. Beast. I don't know.
I don't know where you're going with that.
I have nothing.
All right, let's get to that after show. I'm gonna play that outro. I'm gonna say the thing I always say. Yo, 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 Pierce out.